Hey there, 5th grade. This is Mr. Sutherland here, and we're going to do our lesson today, not on paper, but via this video, interactively, of course. And what we're going to do is some bow technique. Now, we haven't had a chance to really play these instruments in the classroom because of our current situation with COVID, and trying to disinfect wood is nearly impossible to keep it from destroying the wood itself. So what you need to have with you guys today for your lesson is a pencil, preferably a regular unsharpened number 2 pencil, such as this one here. This one is sharpened, however, and you just need to have a pencil of some sort. Don't use a pen, especially try not to get one of those pencils that are mechanical, that have the little clip on the side of it, because you need to have a place for your fingers to go on to practice this bow hold. Now, how this bow hold works is pretty much exactly like it works on the actual bow itself for your instruments. This is called the French bow hold, and this is going to work for all 4 instruments from violin, viola, cello, and bass. Okay, so what you need to do first is, once you get your pencil, I need you to hold it in your left hand. You're going to be putting it into your right hand for the actual hold, but for now, you're going to hold it in your left hand. And so I'm going to give you about a minute or 2 to get your pencils out ready, and then you can resume the video. So pause it here, and then resume when you're ready. Okay, so I assume that you're ready to go. Let's get our pencil and place it again in our left hand, and I want you to place it with the eraser end up. Sorry, I was looking at it funny. And with the eraser end up, hold it in your left hand, hold it in front of your face like I have here in the video. What you're going to do next is you're going to get your right hand and you're going to lay it flat in front of you. So left hand is holding the pencil vertically with the eraser end up, and your right hand is palm face up. Okay? The next step is you're going to place your pencil along the first crease of your middle finger and your ring finger. The first crease meaning the top right up here. This is the first crease that I'm talking about. There are 1, 2, pretty much 3 creases in your fingers. You want to go to the one that's up and next to your index finger, to the tip of your finger for your middle and ring finger. So we're going to place it horizontally now into the palm of our hand, or rather the first crease of your middle finger and ring finger, and lay there. You'll notice that when you hold it in your hand, your fingertips will be going past the pencil. They won't be actually touching the pencil itself, because the pencil will be in the crease. Now, after that, you're going to bend your thumb. Look how easily I can bend my thumb back and forth. All right, I'm still holding the pencil in my left hand, and what I'm going to do now is place the tip of my thumb onto the pencil where it meets the middle finger. So you're going to connect your tip of your thumb to the pencil where the middle finger is. So now we should have something that looks like this. You'll notice that my thumb is bent, and you'll notice that the tip of my thumb is holding the pencil up into my middle finger. It's not under my ring finger, it's under my middle finger. Make sure that you have this nice angle here for your thumb. Now, this pencil is only maybe an ounce or less, so you should not be squeezing it with a death grip. In fact, you have to do the opposite of what you normally would do with your left hand. You have to think light and fluffy or airy with your right hand, whereas the left hand has to be nice and rigid but very flexible. So this has to be flexible but very loose and relaxed, because the pencil itself, in this case, is very light, and you don't have to squeeze it very hard to hold it in place. Now, once you have this, you'll notice that maybe if you have pretty flexible hands like I do, then you have your index finger up and your pinky up at this moment, while your ring finger and your middle finger are still on the pencil, with the fingertips just going past the pencil itself. Now, for the cello and bass bow hold, all you're going to do is relax your 2 fingers down onto the pencil, just like you had the middle finger and ring finger. Now, you might not necessarily have the first crease of your pinky and your index finger on the pencil. So that's okay. You want to have this slight angle to your pencil to your wrist or your arm. You notice that my arm is coming down an angle, but I'm holding the pencil horizontally in the camera. That's why we want to have the bow hold like. You want to be able to reach over that way. Now, again, my thumb is still bent, and I can still be flexible with my hand because I'm not squeezing it with the death grip. Now, the one main difference between the cello bass bow hold like we have here to the violin viola bow hold is one thing, and that has to do with your pinky in your right hand. All you're going to do is bend your pinky up, lift it up off the pencil, bend it, and then touch the tip of your pinky to the pencil itself next to your ring finger. And so now you'll have the pinky sticking up just a little bit, as if you're holding a teacup. Again, everything else is exactly the same. It's just the pinky that is different. Next, we're going to try going into using the actual movement. So give yourself a moment to check yourself to see if you have the right bow hold for whatever you choose to do, whether it be violin or cello or bass or viola. So the violin viola hold, remember, is just the pinky up. Cello bass is all the fingers down on the bow, or the pencil in this case. Once you have that down, we're going to get started with our metronome. Now, what we're going to do is, as you can see, I put my hands down in front of me to the side. I'm going to have my metronome started at 60 beats per minute. I'm going to make sure that I can move my bow up and down without struggling. So what you're going to do is make sure that your elbow is to your side of your body. Make sure that the pencil is in front of your arm and not in front of your body. So your elbow to your side, shoulders relaxed, and you want to have your pencil up by your shoulder so your elbow is closed. What you're going to do now is try to draw the pencil downward in a vertical fashion, like a rocket or an elevator. You don't want it to tilt left or right, back or forward. We want to be able to keep the pencil vertical as possible, parallel to your body, and perpendicular to the ground. All right, so we're going to make sure that our elbow is to our side. Our elbow is also bent, so our wrist is up by our shoulder, and the pencil is perpendicular to the ground, but parallel to your body. We're going to move the bow, or the pencil in this case, up and down, or starting down and up, in a whole note fashion. We're going to go down for 4 beats and up for 4 beats without stopping or pausing at the top or the bottom of the movement. So here we go. I'm going to count you off 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're going to start. Make sure that when we move the bow or the pencil, that it stays perpendicular to your body, or parallel to your body, and perpendicular to the ground. So that way it moves as vertically as possible, like an elevator. You're going to do this by opening and closing your elbow, and then turning or twisting your wrist back and forth ever so slightly to keep the pencil straight. Make sure it doesn't waver left or right, or back or forward. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. Down, 2, 3, 4. Up, 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 2, 3, 4. Keep going. Now, as you follow me in the video, you should still be able to count in your head, as I am when I'm listening to music. I already know what 4/4 time feels like, and I know how many beats a whole note gets, and I'm pretty used to playing it, so I don't have to think about it while I'm bowing and demonstrating. Now, while I'm speaking, I'm also going to demonstrate or talk to you about the movement of the bow. Notice that I'm not clicking with the click, or I'm not stopping my movements like a robot arm. It's simply just going up and down like an elevator nonstop. Okay? You'll notice there's a slight little bounce when I switch directions, because as soon as I want to go to another whole note sound or bow movement, I want to make sure that I go quickly without stopping the bow for any part of the movement at all. This is called détaché. Now, détaché means detach or opposite directions here in our case, and so we're going to bow back and forth nonstop. Détaché. It's a French word. So let's learn it. Say it with me. Détaché. Try it again. Détaché. Cool. Now, we should be up at the up position. Let's go now half notes, 2 beats. 1, 2, up, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, down, 2, up, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. You notice that the bow is now moving just a slightly bit faster. And in fact, for me, it feels a lot faster. And especially feels faster if you're using the entire movement of your arm, going as low as you can go and going as high as you can move. Okay? So make sure that you're always moving the entire length of your forearm or your extension of your elbow and the extension of your wrist to keep it vertical. Again, parallel to the body and perpendicular to the ground. All right, now let's go a little bit faster. We're gonna go with quarter notes. Quarter notes get 1 beat each, and so we're gonna go and move our bow up and down per click. Here we go. Quarter notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Keep going this fast. Now these are still détaché. Everything we're doing is back and forth, détaché. This is just now quarter notes, so it obviously goes a lot faster as you move up and down, or rather down and up, okay? And you'll notice that on me, on my arm in this video, I'm actually giving it a little bit more of a flick in my wrist when I switch directions so I can feel like a paintbrush. If you want to do this with your other arm to follow your pencil, you can do this as well. Move your arm like a paintbrush. For example, down, up, down, up. Use your hand like you would see the hair on a paintbrush move on a canvas. The same should be true with the movement of your wrist going back and forth. 1, 2, 3, 4. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Now, as you're moving, pretend that you are using a paint brush that has paint that consistently flows through it. Now, if you change the speed of your paintbrush, you're not going to get a really solid line, all right? If you're in art class or know anything about painting or drawing, is that when you are painting or drawing, if you don't go slow enough with a marker or a pen or a paintbrush in this case, you're going to get one thick blotch, and then you're going to spread that blotch across rather than have one solid thick line, all right? It's going to dissipate the amount of material that you'll have on the actual substance or the tool to go across the canvas. So imagine in this case, the same thing is working for the bow. We want a constant movement so we don't have any deterioration in sound. The more and more consistent you move, the same volume will be with the bow. We'll change the quality of the sound based on the speed, accuracy on each direction that you move. If the beginning of your bow movement is a little bit faster, the sound's going to be more abrupt at the beginning. And if your bow movement is faster at the end, the sound's going to be really abrupt at the end. And you might be rushing or going too fast. So always keep it the same speed as you're moving this bow, doing this bow movement. Now we're going to try one more thing. We're going to go a little bit faster. We're going to go into eighth notes. Eighth notes go twice as fast. Eighth notes literally get half a beat. Now don't get confused with half notes and eighth notes, all right? Half notes get 2 beats. Eighth notes get half a beat, so they're faster, okay? They have less value than the half note does. So we're going to go now twice as fast as the quarter notes. Here's the eighth notes. Ready? Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and you'll notice that 2 and 3 and 4 and when I'm doing this movement here, the down is the click and the up is the and or the upbeat. You'll see that in your books often mentioned as the upbeat, but I never want to call it that. I always call it the and of the beat. So we have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and this is especially true when we're doing conducting in class. When I'm conducting any kind of melody or rhythm, I'm showing the beat always, and so we need to make sure that we can follow those hands by seeing the up and down beats or the numbers and the ands. Down, up, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. All right, go ahead and relax. I'll stop the metronome. And so this was a pretty good workout. You'll notice that your right arm can get really tired really fast if you don't practice this often. And this is just a pencil. Imagine a much larger instrument like the bow for your bass, for your cello, or even just slightly bit smaller like the viola and violin. So when you're playing or practicing the bowing movements, you got to make sure that you do this daily, all right, to strengthen your arm. Now, the more you do it is not necessarily the best option. It's rather the consistency that you do it at, with always focusing on being better. There will be another video that's posted talking about how to practice, and it's on my YouTube channel. Watch how to practice. Again, what's going to be really important here is when you practice however you can that's fitting around your schedule as a beginner. But make sure that it's consistent practice, you're always keeping a schedule, and making sure that you're always being focused, deliberate with your movements, and deliberate consciously about what you're doing. Don't just go through the motions. If you're always going through the motions when you practice, you're not going to get better, you're just going to go through the motions.